Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We aren't just looking at the St. Paul Middle School U.S. history framework, we're actually going to learn how to do history. We're going to transform you into a historical detective, focusing specifically on exactly how we use evidence to uncover the truth about America's past.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the U.S. history journey, dive into Unit 1, Colonizing America, explore Unit 3, American Identity, look at expanding and dividing, and finish up with the road ahead.
Section 1, the U.S. history journey.
11 massive units. We are covering thousands of years of human experience in this curriculum. We're going from woolly mammoths in prehistoric North America all the way to the skyscrapers of a completely new century. That is a ton of ground to cover, but don't worry, it's broken down in a highly strategic way. To actually get through all of this, pacing is everything. You'll notice how we move from a quick 3-week study of early colonization right into these massive 4-week deep dives on incredibly dense, transformative periods, things like the Revolution, the formation of American identity, and World War II. Meanwhile, other vital eras, like the Great Depression or politics and protest, those are paced at a really tight 3 weeks. It's all about giving you the exact right amount of time to master each era.
Section 2, Unit 1, Colonizing America.
Now, our essential question for this first unit really hinges on 2 key vocabulary words, opportunity and conflict. Think about it. How did colonization create immense wealth and entirely new beginnings for some, while simultaneously causing devastating loss and warfare for others? This is the lens through which you're going to view everything in this early period. Because, honestly, history is rarely one-sided. And that brings us to a really common misconception, which is the idea that early colonial life was just one big, peaceful Thanksgiving feast. But being a historian means analyzing the tension between that comfortable historical myth and the gritty reality. We literally have to separate the simplified stories we kind of wish were true from the verified, evidence-based accounts of how colonial development actually happened.
So, to answer our big questions, we are going to dive straight into the primary sources. You're going to learn how to distinguish raw source facts from historical interpretation and analyze the deeply different perspectives between European colonists, indigenous peoples, and enslaved Africans during the transatlantic slave trade. Plus, we'll explore the fascinating cultural balancing act of the era, weighing the rise of rationality against really strong traditions of religious piety.
Okay, let's actually do a quick worked evidence discussion right now. If a colonial charter claims settlers arrived simply to spread peace, but actual shipping logs from the same time show they brought hundreds of weapons, which piece of evidence carries more weight? That right there is exactly what you'll master here, explaining colonial development, connecting massive systems like slavery to local economics, and always backing up your claims with hard evidence from historical accounts.
Section 3, Unit 3, American Identity.
Once you've mastered evaluating evidence in Unit 1, you're going to apply it right here. After establishing those colonies and fighting a whole revolution for constitutional rights in Unit 2, Unit 3 is where a brand new nation actually has to figure out who it is over a 4-week period. They won the war, they wrote the Constitution, but what does it actually mean to be an American?
The essential question for Unit 3 is a fascinating paradox. How did the United States define itself while simultaneously expanding and dividing? Time for a quick student check. Pause and ask yourself this. If a country is physically getting larger, does that automatically make its people more united, or does it just give them more things to fight over? Keep that in mind.
We're going to break down this paradox by looking completely impartially at the major forces shaping the era. We will use primary sources to look at the bitter rivalries between the very first political parties, like Alexander Hamilton's Federalists and Thomas Jefferson's Republicans, and see exactly how their fierce arguments over government power shaped early reform and social movements.
Section 4, Expanding and Dividing. A major vocabulary concept here is manifest destiny. That's the 19th century belief that U.S. expansion across the continent was both totally justified and inevitable. You'll evaluate primary sources to see how this incredibly powerful idea pushed wagons westward, regardless of who was already living on that land, and analyze the consequences of that expansion. You can really think of the tension here as a massive game of tug-of-war. You've got nationalism pulling everyone together under one flag with a shared identity, while sectionalism is ripping the country into rival teams, like the North versus the South,
where people were way more loyal to their local economy than to the nation as a whole. Now, we don't take sides on this. Instead, we act as historical detectives, impartially reading the actual letters and debates of the Federalists and Republicans to track how their arguments set the stage for the political systems we still use today. We just let the historical facts guide our understanding. Section 5, The Road Ahead. Because the sectionalism you study in Unit 3, well, it directly causes the massive violent clashes in Unit 4's Civil War. The divisions just became way too deep for politics to fix. And that leads right into the incredibly complicated rebuilding period of Unit 5's Reconstruction. It's like a chain reaction. Every single historical event triggers the next. So the core skills you just learned about, evaluating evidence, spotting historical myth, and analyzing primary accounts, these make up your ultimate toolkit for all 11 units of this curriculum. Whether you're studying global imperialism in Unit 6 or the Civil Rights Movement in Unit 9, you're going to be using these exact same analytical skills to understand complex events. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this seminar prompt to think about. If the early expansion of the United States relied on both immense opportunity and devastating conflict, how does that dual legacy impact the modern challenges we face in a new century? Because history is the ultimate context for the present. Keep evaluating the evidence, and I will see you in the next explainer.